season, man. Let's go get what we want. Hey, yeah, hey. It's about that time.
We know what we want to do. It's another opportunity for us to get better.
Alabama has won the match.
How you compete, that means how hard you play, how tough you play, how you can sustain in tough circumstances.
Welcome to Tide TV This Week, brought to you by Renaissance Bank. I'm Christopher England, along with Maggie Hetzel.
It's game week. We talked last week about football being back, but this week it's officially back being game week.
The Crimson Tide take on Duke in Atlanta on Saturday in the Chick-fil-A Kickoff Classic. Let's take a look at this weekend's matchup.
The Crimson Tide and the Blue Devils have met only 4 times. Duke won the first ever meeting between the two schools in the 1945 Sugar Bowl, 29-26. The Crimson Tide have now won 3 in a row. Under Bear Bryant, the Tide won 35-12 in 1972, and the Tide won 30-14 over the Blue Devils in 2006 in Tuscaloosa. The most recent matchup took place in 2010 in Durham, North Carolina. The Tide rolled big in that one, 62-13. Despite playing only 4 times, the two schools have a connection that goes back almost 90 years. Wallace Wade led the Crimson Tide to their first national championship in 1925. Wade won 2 more with the Crimson Tide in 1926 and 1930. Following his 3rd national championship win at Alabama, Wade took over as head coach at Duke. In 16 seasons, Wade compiled a record of 110 wins, 36 losses, and 7 ties with the Blue Devils. For his accomplishments, Duke's football stadium was renamed Wallace Wade Stadium in 1967. Another connection is the current head coach of the Blue Devils. A 1976 graduate of the University of Alabama, David Cutcliffe worked as a student assistant coach under head coach Bear Bryant.
Duke has had a very successful season last year with 8 wins. David Cutcliffe, in my opinion, is one of the best coaches in the country. Having competed against him for years when he was at Ole Miss, and also since we've been here, we played against him at Duke.
Cutcliffe has coached several well-known quarterbacks, including Eli and Peyton Manning, and he'll be looking to help develop a new starting quarterback this season. Last year's starter, Daniel Jones, was drafted number 6 overall by the New York Giants. Stepping in to fill Jones' shoes is senior Quentin Harris. Harris started 2 games last season for the Blue Devils, earning wins over Baylor and North Carolina Central. Last season, Harris completed 34 of 68 passes for 437 yards with 7 touchdowns and just 1 interception. Along with a new starting quarterback, Duke loses their top 4 receivers from last season. Their top returning receiver is also their top returning running back. Junior Deion Jackson led the Blue Devils with 26 catches and 253 yards through the air, while adding 847 yards on the ground with 7 touchdowns for an average of 5.3 yards per carry. Jackson's 1,602 all-purpose yards were 5th most in Duke history. While Duke returns only 4 starters on offense, the Blue Devils return 8 starters on the defensive side. While the Blue Devils defense allowed 222 yards per game on the ground, they were a bit stingier through the air, allowing just 199 yards with just 17 touchdown passes.
Kickoff is scheduled for 2:30 p.m. Central Time. The game will be broadcast live on ABC.
The Alabama men's basketball team has taken their training to a new level. We're going to give you an inside look coming up next.
TideTV This Week is brought to you by ATI. Built by Bama. Rebuilt by ATI Physical Therapy. Ford and the F-150. Tough runs in our family. See your local Ford dealer today. AFS, a Bayless company. Your foundation and waterproofing specialists. Serving you since 2000.
We got 10. Let's go. These the one right here. Ain't speed. Boom. Right hand. Boom. here, man. We ain't just hoopers no more. No more! Work, baby. Woo! All work, easy work, man. That's what we do.
Running the steps in Bryant Denny, working out at the home of the undefeated WBC heavyweight champion Deontay Wilder. Workouts for the Alabama men's basketball team have certainly been taken to the next level.
Yes, they have. And if you think that's impressive, Coach Oates and the staff took it one step further. Boot camp players and coaches and support staff of the Alabama men's basketball team participated in a grueling 3-day boot camp retreat, which was held in Purcell Farms in Sylacauga.
Let's go all access with the Alabama men's basketball team as they took part in boot camp. It's brought to you by ATI.
If you can push more out of yourself, you bring it up from the deep. And a lot of times you gotta dig deep, because when it's at the end and you can see the finish line, you know how many people I've seen just throw the towel in? They don't even know that finish line's right around the corner. Does everybody here want to win a championship this year?
Because the crazy thing we do. Yeah, the boys from Alabama. You heard so much about. We out
I'm a little tired, a little out of shape. Yeah, get back at it. Last 4 months been a little busy. They've been working out like I should have been. I kept the pace for him though. Roll Tide. So he just kept up with me and we got it done.
A, take you out of your comfort zone, right?
Sure.
B, push you beyond any mental or physical limitations that you thought you had.
Stay with it, ready?
Not everybody can do it.
Ready?
All right. You got a bunch of warriors, and I have no doubt that each and every one of you can pull what it takes to make it happen. Get it. Get it this season.
Well, Maggie, you have to be pretty excited about the future of Alabama basketball as the Nate Oates era begins here in Tuscaloosa. And we now know when the first game will be for this year's Crimson Tide basketball team.
The Tide's non-conference schedule was released this week, and it includes some games and some big-time programs.
As of now, the Tide has 13 non-conference games scheduled with the season beginning on November 5th as the Tide hosts Penn here in Tuscaloosa. The Tide will then take on Florida Atlantic in Coleman Coliseum before heading to Rhode Island on November 15th. Before Coach Oates and the Tide head to the Bahamas for Thanksgiving, they will host Furman on November 19th.
In the Bad Boy Mowers battle for Atlantis, say that 3 times fast, the Tide will play 3 games. North Carolina will be Bama's opening matchup on the 27th, with the Tide playing either Michigan or Iowa State on the 28th, with the 3rd matchup to be determined.
The Tide begins December at home, hosting Stephen F. Austin with 3 games on the road after that. The Tide will travel to Penn State on the 14th and then take on Sanford and Birmingham on the 18th and Belmont in Huntsville on the 21st.
Alabama's final non-conference game before they begin Southeastern Conference play will take place on December 29th as they host Richmond. The other non-conference matchup is against Kansas State on January 25th as the Tide takes part in the Big 12 SEC Challenge.
Some big-time matchups already on the schedule before SEC play even begins. Football season is just beginning, but Maggie, I'm already excited for basketball.
It'll sneak up on you. Be here before you know it. Stay with us. We'll go all access with the Alabama baseball team for the first day of school. And still to come, we'll go behind the scenes for practice with soccer and volleyball.
Arm up. Way to speed up to the ball, Jamie. Okay, so you load, swing, back to
to load. You're waiting for it. People that on the
Tide TV this week is brought to you by ATI, built by Bama, rebuilt by ATI Physical Therapy, the University of Alabama, where legends are made.
Welcome back to Tide TV This Week, brought to you by Renaissance Bank. We've talked about football and men's basketball. Now it's time to talk some Alabama soccer.
The Tide season is already underway as the women split their opening weekend matches. The Tide lost a defensive battle last Thursday in their season opener 1-0 to BYU. However, the Tide bounced back with a big win this past Sunday. Alabama got on the board in the 31st minute with a goal from Bryn Martin. Macy Clem and Casey Wirtz added goals in the second half to give Alabama their first victory of the season, a 3-0 win over Utah.
We recently had the chance to visit with head coach Wes Hart and the Crimson Tide soccer team out on the practice field as they begin preparations for the 2019 season.
Let's go all access with Coach Hart and the Tide. It's brought to you by BBVA.
How you feel, Sasha? You doing good? Yeah. Start a good ball here. Nice and clean. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go on, press. Go on, hunt. Nice. 15, 16, 17, 18. Ready. Hit. You gotta close down first, Kat. You gotta close as this ball's going, Serena. She's gotta be closing, right? You've gotta be closing that down. Go on, close, push. There you go, turn and go. Our kind of back six, if you will, with Plavin, so 7. We're working on our phase 1, trying to get out. Played back in here, you've shown wide, you've expanded the field because we're in possession. We lose it, Mike triggers another ball. You gotta work your butt to get inside. Okay, it is a sprint to recover in, and then we've got our shape, and now we can work on our normal tactics in here. Close that down, go on, pump. Good, hit her. Good, try to beat her, 4 or 5 steps. Here, Tosh, go. Beat her 4 or 5, good. Stay engaged in here. I don't know if you're doing a job here, Verb. Come on. Good ball. Good, Sid. Great ball, Kat. Go the runner, Beth. Just stand your feet. Good, Neely. Perfect. That's why, Neely. You guys ended up doing the same job. One of you's got to get across the middle in there. Well done. Good goal, Green. Time. Go grab water.
Welcome back. This weekend, the Alabama volleyball teams opens their season in Buffalo, New York at the UB Invite with matches against Marist, Buffalo, and Colgate. We had the chance to visit with the Crimson Tide volleyball team as they prepared for the 2019 season. Let's go all access with head coach Lindsay Devine and the Tide.
Cheat yourself. We know that the grind is what? Not sexy. Tossing back and forth. Great job. Last 2 steps. Great. I like that pace, Doris. That pace is good. Speed arm load. I like that finish on that, Aaliyah. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. When you swing, I don't need to come all the way through on these because we want to beat the block. Yeah, you're a spry setter. You know how important those hands are. There, and all of a sudden losing all that momentum, that acceleration, that power. So you load, swing. There, arms out. Hey, we get better when we challenge ourselves. Celebrate that effort. Great finish on the ball. Nice tempo set. Trust what you see. I trust you. Okay, so bring it together and let's go after our next one.
Tied up 3, 1, 2, 3. Tied.
Welcome back. The 2019 fall semester began last Wednesday here on the campus of the University of Alabama.
We all saw pictures of students posting about their first day of school, so we thought it'd be fun to see what it's like for a student athlete on their first day of school.
We followed the Alabama baseball team around the capstone for their first day of classes. Let's go all access with the Tide baseball team. It's brought to you by Payless Drugs.
Good morning, my name is Jim Jarvis. I'm from San Diego, California. I'm not a good surfer, and I don't have surfboards.
I'm Zane Denton. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee.
My name is Peyton Wilson. I'm from Hoover, Alabama.
I'm Miles Austin from Atlanta, Georgia. We're finna go to the Diner Hall right now. Everybody fill up before we go to class, get big.
Just got done fueling up, about to head to class. First day. Let's roll!
What's up, dude? How's it going?
We're about to go walk over to the academic center and go see Miss Jenny.
Right there, 5th year, Kyle Cameron. He might try to come back for his 6th year. We're still working on that eligibility.
I'll be working on my doctorate.
We're really excited about what we got going on in baseball right now. We got a lot of new guys, 13 new freshmen.
Something like that, yeah. Hopefully make straight A's for what, like the 5th semester in a row?
In a row, yeah. That's correct.
Yeah, 4.0 GPA, no big deal.
Do you want water or Gatorade?
I'll take one.
Yeah, sure.
That was really nice of them.
We'll take that.
That's a lot of sugar in that Gatorade.
I'm not worried about it.
We've just showed up at Bryan Hall, home of Miss Jenny during the day.
She takes care of us, makes sure we're in all our classes that we need to be, so we're eligible and can play baseball.
And graduate.
I was telling
And
her how hard it
graduate,
was.
that's more
and how
important.
Have fun in class, guys. Thanks, dude. Head at the field, get a lift in.
The smartest player on the team,
Lee, for sure.
Chase Lee or Landon Green. We actually have 3 Canadians on the team. Justin King, Antoine Jean, and Owen Diodati. You'd never really think in your life you'd ever play with someone from Canada. Well, they say A, but
a lot.
And they call grilled barbecues. Like, hey, let's go barbecue up some hamburgers. What? Thanks for following us around on the first day of class, seeing what it's like to be an Alabama baseball player. Now we gotta go live.
Y'all can't stay here, y'all gotta go home, but we'll see y'all later.
Now let's take a look at next week's schedule for the Crimson Tide. What's next is brought to you by Renaissance Bank. Soccer travels to Blacksburg to take on Virginia Tech next Thursday. On Friday, men's golf begins play in the Carpet Capital Collegiate, and volleyball takes on Navy and Virginia Commonwealth at the VCU Invitational.
On Saturday, volleyball takes on NC State, cross country competes in the Falcon Classic in Montevallo, and football takes on New Mexico State at 3 p.m. here in Bryant-Denny Stadium.
And soccer wraps up their road trip on Sunday in Tennessee. The Tide takes on Chattanooga at noon.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Tide TV This Week.
But before we go, we have a little extra something for you to hold you over until game day. We'll see you next week, everybody.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Hands off here, Sean Alexander, big hole, touchdown, Sean Alexander!
He put his left arm on, look, he catches off his back and holding on to the football.
The chase is on, and it will be won by Julio Jones.
Picked up by Darius, Darius in the air, Darius going for the end zone, dashes into the touchdown and gets one for Dad.
The kick is blocked! It's blocked by Alabama! It is blocked by Alabama!
Lacey, Bolts middle, still going end zone. Gonna go deep, wants Cooper, Cooper's got it, touchdown, Alabama!
The Heisman winner in the open field, headed for the end zone. Fires to the end zone, touchdown! Alabama wins!
This has been a presentation of Learfield IMG College.